Yo, what's going on, Heat fans? It's your host, MA, with another episode of Heat Vlog Spot. Finally, it's been a while. Sorry about that, but I wanted the All-Star break to happen and the All-Star game to happen and all that. But today's episode, we're going to focus on Bam Adebayo and why he's just different. He's just a different dude. And that's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. We'll get into it, let you guys know what I think, and take it from there. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it, guys. Anyways, so before we get to the Bam Adebayo talk, let's discuss a little bit about All-Star Weekend. We didn't have an All-Star, as we know already, but that's okay. Honestly, I think the team needed a break. And when you look at the game and the festivities, yeah, I actually enjoyed having everything on one day. I didn't have to wait till Friday, Saturday, Sunday to do everything. I didn't really miss the rookie sophomore game, the Rising Stars game, as they call it. The skills challenge, to me, it's not even a skills challenge anymore. It was more challenging back in the early 2000s when Dwayne Wade won it. That was a whole lot more challenging, more passing, more dribbling, more shooting, and time at the same time. And I don't know, it just felt like it was just like so one-sided. Boom, boom, boom. Like, you go one time, make one pass, make the layup, come back down, hit the three, and then see if you win. And whoever hits it faster. And it wasn't as enjoyable, and that's why, like, the big guys just need to get lucky and make a shot, and boom. And then the little guys are just like, whatever about it. Like, okay, that's cool. But if it was more of a skills challenge, I think the little guys would win most of the time still. That's just me, though. Three-point contest is still great. I think that's the only thing that holds itself through time is the three-point contest. And Steph Curry was awesome to watch in that, and just, showed everybody why he's still a deadly three-point shooter. And he is just deadly. The slam dunk contest, don't want to get started with it. It was a slam dunk contest, right? And then the All-Star game, I only watched the first half pretty much, and it was fun. Like, it was cool to see some of the players do things they don't normally do. But then again, they actually do normally do this, but in a more competitive setting, and it just felt like it was very, I don't know. It was all right. It is what it is. I didn't particularly enjoy it, and I think the NBA still has a lot of work to do to make that whole event a whole lot more eventful, right? Not even in a weekend. I was hoping the one-day thing would just make it better, and it was all right. I made it better in the sense where I didn't have to wait. All right. Anyways, last time we spoke, the Heat were about to play the Jazz, and we didn't know Bam Adebayo was going to win. The Heat come out, played great defense, played great offense, and won that game. It was amazing, and that was the best team in the league still to the day. So, hey, we're on the rise. The Heat are getting better. Then we faced the Hawks. We beat the Hawks easily. Of course, the Hawks came back to beat us in the next time, whatever. But then we end our first half of the season with a W against the Pelicans. Yes, they didn't have Zion Williamson. But hey, a W is a W, and now we're 18-18 finally. We're at 500. We've climbed our way back, and we are sitting at the 6th spot, right behind the New York Knicks, who are 19-18, and the Boston Celtics, who are 19-17. Those are the 4 and 5. And, luckily, we're going to have a little bit of an easier schedule, but with a lot of back-to-backs. So hopefully he can continue to take advantage, continue to get better, continue to thrive on defense, and make an actual run at this, because I think home court advantage this time around is actually more needed. For some reason, I just think you don't want to play one of these lower seeded teams that are, the only reason they're lower seeded is because of injury or COVID or whatever the case may be, because they might just click at the right time, and then you're actually playing a better team than you usually supposed to play. So I think it's just better to guarantee ourselves that we're not going to have a tougher competition, get the higher seed. Just me. And we'll see what happens. It's not a tough schedule, though, coming up. Not Orlando's next on Thursday. Right after that, we play Chicago on Friday. Orlando again on Sunday. Cleveland on Tuesday. Memphis. And then we play Indiana twice. So the next 5 games, we should get W's. Memphis should be fun because Justice Winslow is back, and I want to see if he has a revenge game or something. Maybe he comes at us a little bit different. Maybe he decides to show us a little something we haven't seen before. And that will be interesting. Interesting to say. All right. So that's the Heat, what they all been doing. But the reason I wanted to make an episode today was about Bam. And the thing we call Bam is, and we want Bam to be aggressive. We want Bam to be this offensive force, similar to what Chris Bosh was before he came to the Heat. Even though in the Heat he was very, very dominant too, in my opinion. But Chris Bosh was dominant in Toronto. He was the man. He got the ball. Let's go. The guy we saw in Brooklyn when we needed him to be that guy. That's the guy I'm talking about. That Bam, right? And I don't know that Bam exists 100%. I think Bam can build himself to that, but he's nowhere near that yet, at least consistently. And it's okay. And I think the big reason for that is Bam has never been the man. And I'm sure a lot of podcasts and everything of the Heat have said this before. So if you are listening to Heat podcasts everywhere, to other ones, Five on the Floor, Lockdown Heat, and it's more and more and more, then you probably know this already. But it's true. Bam Adebayo is just not our prototypical superstar. Yes, he's getting paid superstar money next season. He's still, right? Yeah, next season, because that's when his extension hits, next season. But he's on his fourth year, guys. Like, his fourth season. That's all he's played. And we can't really get upset with that. It's crazy to force this guy that's still on his rookie contract to start putting up superstar, what we want, Kevin Durant numbers. No, like, a guy's still developing, he's still growing. And to me, the way we use him, he's just a higher volume offensive. I don't even know that much. I don't even want to say that, but he's Draymond Green, basically. Draymond Green for the Warriors back in the heyday, before the KD days. He's that right now, but he's scoring more points, and he's not that efficient on defense, because this is how Draymond wouldn't have to be so offensively, focused, because he had Klay Thompson and he had Steph Curry and he had a bunch of other supporting casts. But those two guys I named first, huge help. And then you have now Bam. You don't have that. You have Jimmy, a rookie, a second year, Tyler Hero, or Goran Dragic that's 35, 36 years old, and everybody else is still coming. And it's just something we can't really expect. And that's okay that he's not a superstar. It's okay that he's more of a Draymond Green, because Draymond Green was probably the X factor to those teams. Remember the Def lineup where Draymond Green was the center, and then Harrison Barnes, and then Andre Iguodala, and then Klay Thompson, and then Steph Curry. Boom. And I think that's really why the Heat got Andre Iguodala, because I think the Heat view Bam as a better offensive player than Draymond. Now, I will say this about Draymond, though. At least he shot threes, and he made them at a respectable clip. If you want me to, let me see. In 2015, 2016, 38% he shot from three. After that, it was around 30%. But 2015, 2016, and 2014, 2015, he was shooting 33, 38%. And he was taking at least 3 threes a game. Bam Adebayo is not even attempting threes like that. It's at the 0.2 mark, right? At least Draymond's chucking them and trying to make them and trying to make the defense more honest, while Bam's not doing that. But Bam would grow to that. Draymond was in his 4th and 5th year, so, But again, he had Steph Curry and he had Klay Thompson, right? But again, now bring it back to Bam. Bam is just the newer Draymond. He's bigger. He's more, more responsible for a lot of things. He's responsible for defense, to keep us all on the same page, because he's the back line captain. And on offense, he's initiating offense, trying to make plays, and then when he can, try to score. And that's a lot, guys. That's a lot. And I don't know if we want him to be more than this, honestly, depending on the game plan. Like, do we want Bam to become a superstar like that? Yeah. It's gonna take time, guys. Like, he didn't really come up the AAU track. In Kentucky, he wasn't the man. He was surrounded by De'Aaron Fox and also a bunch of other guys that were ball dominant. and he was more than happy to let him take over. So I think this is going to be a really big, long process for Bam. Bam is right now currently 23 years old. I don't see him really being offensively all around offensive. Like, I mean, like at least maybe a 3-level scorer. He probably won't be that until he's 28, 29. That's like 5 to 6 years from now. And that's okay though, because we got a guy named Tyler Hero who's coming up, and he's developing too, and he's a different type of player. He's the one that is supposed to be grooming to be a more offensive weapon. And then we still got Jimmy, we still got Goran, and then we're looking for those other pieces. We still got Duncan. So now, is this good enough for us to win a championship? No, I don't think so. Not with our current roster. So now this brings me to the conversation everyone's been having, like, who should we get? Should the Heat get someone that's getting next to Bam? Should the Heat trade for someone that's a point guard? And a lot of yada yada. And honestly, I think we got to take a page from the Warriors book. I'm not convinced anymore that a big man, a 4 or 5, is needed next to Bam, and that player has to be a top 3 player on the Heat team. I'm not convinced anymore. After looking at those, Warriors teams and how they won, I think what we need is our own Steph Curry. I think we got a Klay Thompson. No, I think we need a Klay Thompson, but a Klay Thompson that can take over in crunch time, and not always need Jimmy to be the crunch time guy, or at least a shooter for crunch time while Jimmy's the attacker in crunch time. You see how I'm saying? Like, they kind of play off each other depending on what we really need. And then Bam is Draymond, where he's going to do everything else and make sure everything else is great. He's going to get this game-saving block. He's going to get the game-saving rebound. He's going to get the game-saving steal. He's going to do the game-saving assist. He's going to do something else that leads to that game-winning play. And then Jimmy, or that other X-Factor player, maybe it's Tyler Hero, maybe it's Goran Dragic. If we don't make any moves, maybe that's it. And that's what it was last year. Our depth lineup was Jay Crowder, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, and Goran Dragic, right? And I think right now, Kendrick Nunn is becoming very, very, very well player. He's surprising everybody. Man, when I think about this, yeah, I think we need our own Klay/Steph hybrid. I think we need another one. I don't think Kendrick's there, and I think Kendrick's never gonna be that person just because of his age, unfortunately. And that's fine. It doesn't mean Kendrick's gonna be a bad player. He's a good player, and I think his role is gonna be a starter/6 man in our team or somebody else's team, whatever the case may be. And then Goran, I think he's gonna, if we keep him on the bench and we keep his minutes low as much as possible, he can age like fine wine, where he can just continue to focus on the things he's really good at, and whatever he starts deteriorating at, our roster makeup, our schemes will hopefully hide those things. And then, Jimmy's Jimmy. I don't think Jimmy's gonna decline anywhere soon. I think this whole contract, he's gonna pretty much be dominant, honestly. And so, if anything, we're trying to win a championship while Goran's on the team, right? And with that, man, right now I'm thinking I would love Harrison Barnes. I think Harrison Barnes knows exactly what he needs to do next to a Bam, because he did it next to Draymond and Andre and Klay. And right now I'm a big advocate for getting Harrison Barnes more than anybody else that we've talked about. Maybe Thaddeus Young. I'm not really a PJ Tucker fan, because I don't know what people are seeing about this guy. And I know he's historically a good 3-point shooter, and he's a good defender, but I actually think time has caught up with this guy. He's been beat up so many times because he's been playing center for a Rockets team that didn't do much anyways. So I'm not a PJ Tucker corner guy. I'm not about Andre Drummond. I'm not about anybody else. I'm happy Blake went to the Nets. Right now I'm really on the train on let's try to get Harrison Barnes, and let's try to get Thaddeus Young, and if possible, try to keep Duncan still. I think we still need to keep Duncan. Kendrick, I'm not sure about, because I think Avery Bradley can still sort of fill in that role that Kendrick's been doing right now. I think Avery Bradley, and I think that's the intention that Pat Riley and Spo had when they signed Avery Bradley, was like, hey, if Kendrick doesn't really get better or doesn't show up, we're going to have this guy, Avery Bradley, who's a veteran, who knows what he's doing, who can be trusted on defense and has a little bit of offensive spark in him. He can be an offensive weapon at times, not consistently, not throughout the whole night, but he has moments. He can shoot a little bit, and he knows how to take it to the rim. So, I that's what I'm really more advocating. And then if we're gonna do a big trade, if we're gonna go all for it, I'm not opposed to Oladipo right now. I like the Oladipo thing, Also, and before I keep going with this, Vooch, I like Vooch. I know he's been on the radar for us. Nikola Vucevic from the Magic. He's an all-star, but I just don't think he's gonna mesh well. Honestly, I don't. I get he's a great player, and on paper and in theory, it can work very well. But I don't think that's the case. And I'm pulling away from the John Collins train. I don't think John Collins is the answer anymore, and the only reason is because of his age. And I'm trying to think about what moves can we make soon to get a championship within the next 2 to 3 years. That's what I'm thinking. And Harrison Barnes is one of those guys. Thad Young, he's an expiring contract. That's why I'm not too excited. That's why I'm more on the Harrison Barnes train, where we get to keep him and see what we can go with it. And then, I was gonna go back to this now for the superstar hybrid Curry Klay Thompson that we got to look for. I think that's either Oladipo, Bradley Beal, someone high up there, where we're gonna have to trade a substantial amount of players and probably picks to get them. And if we can, Tyler and Duncan are untouchable in a sense, but if I have to lose one, I'm losing Duncan, because Tyler is that future when we have to trade the picks, when we have to trade everything else. He's that future guaranteeing us that we at least we have a young player that we can build around, hopefully, and groom into something, hopefully an all-star, maybe even a superstar one day. Again, if Bradley Beal's on board, then yes, I'm trading. I probably have to trade Tyler Hero for Bradley Beal, and honestly, that's not a bad thing, because Bradley Beal's still young, and he's really, really good. So, we'll see where that goes. But I think that's where our team makeup will be the best, and that's what carried us to the finals. Goran Dragic was elite in the bubble. He was elite, and I don't know if he can replicate that again. And I don't know if we need him to. Look, he played so hard to get hurt at the end. So I really think we need someone that can do this, that can do what Dragic did, but more consistently. And Kendrick Nunn is kind of doing that right now, but then again, it's not the playoffs. No team is really gunning after him like they're gunning after Duncan. So, I still think there's an upgrade there. Then again, I'm still hoping Avery Bradley's that person that shows up for us and does a little something. Now, I'm not saying Avery Bradley's going to be, Bradley Beal or Steph Curry or nothing, but he's just a different dynamic, that X factor that can probably bring something else to the table. That's all I'm saying. And all this because Bam is different. All of this. Because I don't think we should depend on Bam, who's still having a pretty good season. 19.2 points, 9.5 rebounds, 5.4 assists. You really can't ask for more. You're pushing it if you're asking for more. But it's okay that he's not going to be this dominant person. It's all right. It's fine. We shouldn't go crazy over it. What we should be doing is trying to highlight his strengths, and which is everything he shows us. And unfortunately, the strength for him right now isn't just taking over the game and being aggressive. But that's what we need to help get other players that can do that for him while he makes up everybody else. Because Draymond was that. Draymond was the key. Go back to those things, man. Draymond was a key to a lot of those championships before KD. Honestly, he really was, because he allowed Steph Curry to run off without the ball. He made Steph Curry an off-ball threat. So Steph Curry didn't have to always bring up the ball up the court every time. You can give it to Draymond, wait for a second, take a breath in the corner, go through a couple of picks real quick, catch the ball on the wing, hit a three. Everyone's happy. And there's an assist for Draymond. And Draymond, you can trust him with the ball. You can trust him to make the right decision. You can trust him to make the right pass and the great pass in the shooter's pocket, which is what Bam's doing right now. So I think we just gotta do that. And that's why he's different, and that's okay. I think that's our biggest X factor. Where like I'm trying to use Steph Curry and all these people as X factor, but like Bam is our biggest X factor because he does everything. So we just need to highlight that. And you know, Kelly's been fine, but I would love Kelly to come off the bench. And that's what I think. I think if there's somewhere we can do this, is get Harrison Barnes. And let's see if we can run with it, and I think we'll be all right, guys. I think we'll be fine. I think we gotta stop asking so much for Bam. Easily, just Bam's Bam, and let's let it be, and it's fine because we're all gonna be okay. We're all gonna be okay. But yeah, what do you guys think? Like, let me know if you think I'm crazy for this, or. Because I think that's the way we're going to be deadlier. That Warriors team changed the NBA to what it is now, to this perimeter league that everyone gets to touch the ball and everyone passes and everything. And, Iguodala is part of that team too. So let me know what you guys think. Like, if you think we should be building towards that, then actually trying to find the right big man next to Bam. I think Bam just needs a great two-way player next to him that's a 4 or a 5. I think that's really what it is. And then we need a 5 that just comes in and plays strong minutes when he can. Like Andrew Bogut, like JaVale McGee, like Zaza Pachulia. All those guys weren't great players in any stretch of the means. They did a couple of things well, and they played off of that. Andrew Bogut especially because he can catch, he can rebound, and he can block. And then shot a little bit. Shot free throws pretty well. So I think that's the key, guys. I think looking at those Warriors team's blueprint and trying to put it into art is exactly what we need to try to win a championship within the next 2 to 3 years. Easy as that. Let me know if I'm crazy though. If you guys think I'm crazy, you guys think that you see this team being constructed and should be constructed another way, let me know. I want to see it. Tell me what players. Tell me where would you do? Like, where would you put these players? Like, are you put them in the 3, the 4, the 5? Are you gonna move them, shift them around? Do we keep the same core? Do you let go of Duncan, Tyler, or Kendrick, or all of them? Do you just trade the whole farm and you want to start over again? Let me know. And what do you think about Bam? Do you think Bam should be more aggressive? Do you think he should be that type of player ever? Or do you think he should just continue to get better at the things he's really, really good at right now? Let me know. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Let me also know what you guys think about the All-Star game. I'm curious to know what you guys do about that. Think about that. Think blah, blah, blah. I'm going crazy. Anyways. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching today. I appreciate all the love and comments you guys have been throwing at me, all the likes. Thank you so much. Continue to please do that. I really do appreciate it. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the weekend coming up.